Hello friend, welcome back. In your previous video here I created our create page and here I also define our field and also the rules. Okay. So in this video I will show you how can insert all that author data into the database. For doing this in our create page, so if you go to that create page and here I'm defining one of the URL as a author and the store. Okay. And also that is actually the post method. So right now, first of all, we have to create one of the route for this one. So in our web, so in this position, I just create another route, and this route will be the post. So for the reasons, I just defining as a post method, and then the author, and after that, I just defining as a store. You can see that is actually the post method. So for the reasons, I just defining it, and that is a store. So after that author, then the store, then our admin, that's the author controller. In our author controller, I want to work in our store method. Okay. So if you go to that author controller, here there is a create and now there is a store. So for now I want to insert all the data with, and also I added some of the validation. So like if you go to our rule controller, and in our rule controller we did this type of work. Like here you can see I just defined some of the validation. So right now I just copy it and I just customize it as per our demand. But now I just copy all things from here. Okay, and now I just paste on particular that position. And here we have to define all that our field. Like here our field is the name, there is the email, the password, and the rules. So for now, first of all, there is an I just want to make all that field as a required. Like here there is a name, I just defining as a required, and also I want to take another one. Like I just define another one as a email, that means the email field. And for the email field I just want to make the things required, and also I want to do another work. Like I want to check that email, like if this email already exists in our database table, then it should be show some of the message, or if it will be display some of the invalid email format. So this type of message you should be visible. Okay, for the reasons here I want to do that is a required, and also I just define that field as the email. Okay, and also there have the another functions like as a unique. So that means this email will be the unique, and here I just defining our user. Okay, users, and I also define that email. So here email I just defining it. So he'll be check our user field, and also he'll be check that one of the unique email for that user. Okay, so for the reasons I just defining as a required, then the email I just make the things as a unique. And they have the another field. So another field is the password. So for the password, better I just copy it. Okay, I just copy it, and now I need another field. I just name that field as a password. Okay, I just define that password field name, and I also put the things as a required. And for the password, if you want to put some of the length for this password, you can also do that work. Like here I just define that as a required, and here I just defining it, and like I just define the size. Okay, I just define the size. I just define size, it should be minimum 6 character. So for the reasons I just define the size as a 6. And also for the rules, so that is another field. So here they have the another field for the rules. So here I just defining, if you go to the create, I just name it as a rules. Okay, so that is actually the rules. So on particular that page here I just defining as a rules. And into the rules I also want to get all. Okay, so I already discussed about that things with you. Like here I just defining as a multiple. Like here you can see I just defining as a multiple. For the reasons I just defining all. Okay, and now I also put that things as a required. So here I don't need this, so I just define only the required. And now all that validations, for that all that validation I want to show some of the message. Like when this name field will be the required, then it should be show some of the message as a field. Name field is required. Okay, and for the email, for the email, so here I just defining that email. And for the email I also defining as an email, because here I just defining that things I just put some of the unique one of the user. So then it should be showing some of the invalid. Okay, it should be checked, so then it should be show some of the error as invalid email format. Okay, then it should be show some of the message. And also I want to make that things as a unique. Okay, like here you can say I just define that email. So with this email here he will be check that email is valid or not, and after that I define that unique. And unique means he will be check our database. As I told you, he will be check our database field. If this email is already exists, then he will be display some of the message. For the reasons here, I just copy it. Okay, I just copied and I just take another one. And for this, there is the email, and here I just define that things with the unique. So here I just define that unique, and when it should be unique, rather than it should be display one of the message as a user email already exists. Okay, so then they will be displayed this type of message. And for the password here, I defining as a 6 character. Okay, for the 6 character, I just defining as with the size. So better I just want to do, better I just copy it. Okay, I just copy it, and here I just paste that things on here, and that is our password. So here I just define the password. I just define that things with the size. So here I just defining that size, and here I just defining the 6 character. But when it will be checked, then rather than it will be display one of the message as a password. Password must be 6 character. Okay, 6 character or more. So this type of message he will be display on particular that area. So now that is our rules. Here we have to also add the comma, and here there is a comma. So now after that, I just want to check all that field, and then I want to save the data. So on particular that position, first of all I just take one of the variable. Okay, like here I just define that variable as author, and into this position, first of all I create one of the user objects. So here the new and the user, I just defining that user. Okay, that means the user model, and I already load our user model on particular that area. You can see I just already load that user model. So now I created it. So here, and after that I just want to define all that field. Okay, so here, so that actually the author. Okay, so author and the new user, and after that here I want to, with this author, I want to actually access all that our field name, that means the name field. And here for the name field I just put that things with the one of the request. Like here you can see they have also one of the parameter as a request, so I just want to pass that things with this parameter. So now here I have to define our field name. So our field name is the name. Okay, so now we have to do the same things for our email. So for the reasons I just better copy it, and here I paste it. So now our another field is email, so I just define that email and pass that things with this request as email. And then our another field is a password. So for the password we have to I just want to actually make that things like here I just define that our password, and for the password I just want to insert it that things with the hash. Okay, the one of the method, like if you go to that controller, there is a auth controller, and into the auth controller there is a register. Okay, and into the register here you can see they have some of the things, like if you go to these positions, like here the bit trip. Okay, so I also want to do that work, so I just define one of the method as a hash. Like I just define the hash. Okay, hash, and then I just define that make, and then I want to define our with this user request. So I just define that things on here. So with the request our field name, so our field name is the password. I just define that password. So it actually means he will be create some of the bit trip, one of the encrypted password, and also using the hashmag. So you have to also load like here you have to also use it. Like I just define that use and the eliminate, like that is actually eliminate. Okay, so better I just copy it with the eliminate, and then it will be accessed with the support. Okay, in the support they have another file as a phased. Okay, phase, and after that phase then there is actually the hash. So here you have to include this one. Okay, support and the phase dash and the hash. So you have to use this one, and now I just defining it on here, and now here I have to defining the type. Okay, like here I just defining as the author. Better I just copy it. Okay, I just copy it, and with the author, like they have the another field on in our database, there is a type. So right now I want to create, by default he will be created as a author type. That means the author user he will be created. So when this data will be inserted from our create page, like from here, by default it should be that author. Okay, so that means here I want to pass that as a to type. So for doing this I just defining that field name as a type, and here I just passed one of the values. So here I just passed the 2 value. So here is defining as a 2. I hope you can well understand about it. And after that, I want to save the data. So with this author, okay, then I want to save it. So I just define the save method on particular that position. And now here we have to load all that our rules. Like if you go to that positions, like here I want to load all that rules. Okay, so for doing this I want to fetch all that things. Like here I just defining as a for each, and into the for each with this request. So here I just defining with that request, and here into this position I just defining our field as a role field. So here I just defining as a roles. Okay, I just defining as a roles, and I just define as value. So here I just defining as value. So in our roles I already did this type of work. I use one of the attached roles for the reasons with this author. Okay, with this author I want to add another method as an attached role. Okay, he will be attached all that rule, and into this position you have to define that value. That means he get all the fetch data and load on particular that position. Okay, I hope you can well understand about it. And after that I want to redact one of the page. Like if you go to that role, it should be just like this one. Okay, I did a lot of the time. So for now I just copy all things from here, and into this position I want to do, I just paste that things on here. Okay, so now I just defining that return and the redact where I just put some of the actions. It should be redirected to our which page. It should be redirected to our that is actually index, that means the list page. Okay, but now I just better copy it. So I just define one of the method in particular that position. So here I just defining that method on here. So it should be redirected to our in admin and the author controller and the index. And if you go to the index method here, I already defined it should be redirected to our list page. So I hope you can well understand about it. And now with this, and there I just want to show some of the success message. Then it should be show as the author. Okay, author created successfully. So this type of message will be visible on when this data will be inserted in our database. So now let's check this out. If everything okay, then it should be work. Okay, like I just click on the save all, and now I just go to that page and now click on the refresh that page. And into this page I just add some of the validations. Now let's check this out, all the validations. Like here I just define that field name is required. So if you put that things as a null and if you click on the submit, now you can see it's now showing as a field name is and required, that is the email is required, the password field is required. So for now here I just name it as a Kazi. Okay, I just define that Kazi, and here I just define one of the invalid email address. Here I just define on the password, and I just define on the role and click on the submit. Now actually it's here showing as a invalid. Okay, like here better I just define the password 12345 6 and now click on the submit. So here actually it's comes from here. So there is actually pop-up is comes up on here, but after that here you can see it's now showing that message as a invalid. Okay, so it's not display on here. Better I just defining as a like another things. I already created one of the two authored with this email address. Like let's check this out. Like here I want to create another one. Better I just put that one. So that is actually the Ariyan@gmail.com. So I just copy it, and here I just name it. Okay, with this Ariyan I just put the password and click on the submit. Now here you can see it's now showing as the user email already exists. That means I already created one of the user with this email. For the reasons he checked that field, and now it's display on here. So if that is the validation I'm defining on particular that position, he'll be display that field invalid email format. And also I define that things as with the unique, that means where it will be checked with our database field, and when he will be matched with the same email address, then it should be display email already exists. Now you can see it's now showing as the user email already exists. So I hope you can well understand about it. And also for the password I just defining as a size. Like here I just defining as a 6 character. So like here I just defining as a 1 2 3 4 character. Now click on the submit. Now you can see it's now showing as the email address already exists. That means this email already exists, and also password must be 6 characters or more. So I hope this validation is perfectly working on here. Hope you can well understand about it. Okay, so that is the password size. So this password must be 6 character or more. So now this validation is also perfectly work in our that page. Okay, so now I just want to create as a Kazi. I just put that name as a Kazi email. So right now they have no email address with this one. So I just define the Kazi, and here I just define the password as 12345 6, and here I just define the role as author, and also I just define as the author one. Okay, and now click on the submit. Yes, now we see author created successfully. And here there is a it will be redirected to our author list page. So now after that saving all the data, it's now redirected to our author list page. Now that is our Kazi, and that is the email address as a kazi@gmail.com. And also we assign some of the role for this one. Okay. So in our next video, I will show you that things how can display all that your roles on particular that area. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.